Good day. Welcome to Temple University. Congratulations on being accepted into the College of Engineering, and we look forward to you coming to our campus and starting your engineering education in the College of Engineering at Temple University. Who's talking to you right now? Next slide. Oh, that's me. I'm Dr. David Brookstein. I'm the Senior Associate Dean in the College of Engineering. I also happen to be a professor of mechanical engineering. I started my engineering education career in 1975 as a young assistant professor at Georgia Tech. And along the way, I was also in the industry for 14 years where I conducted engineering research. So I have a broad experience in this field. What you see on the left is a robot. This robot is part of our new Innovation, Design, Engineering, and Applied Sciences Hub, or what we sometimes call the Ideas Hub. By the way, parenthetically, I've been told that that robot is going to replace me in 2 years and will now be the new Senior Associate Dean. But for the time being, I'm your Senior Associate Dean, and I'm going to take you through a tour of what goes on in the College of Engineering at Temple University. So let me tell you a little bit about us. We have approximately 1,800 undergraduate students in the college, of which 24.5% are female. I should note that in the United States, if you include all the engineering schools, the female engineering enrollment's about 21%. So we're a little bit ahead and continuing to grow in our female engineering population. 32% of our students consist of underrepresented minorities. That too is above the national average. We have 74 full-time faculty in all our different fields. In addition to our full-time faculty, we have a large group of men and women who are called adjunct faculty or part-time faculty. Now, we use them because these are men and women who are from industry generally, who have a lot of specialized experience that in our upper level courses, they can really offer real-time and real engineering examples. So complementing our 74 full-time faculty are our adjunct faculty. The end of the day, and this is a very important point, we provide a small school feel with big university amenities. We have about 2,000 students. We're housed in a 9-story building. All our programs are in the same building. Students and faculty, at the end of 4 years, everybody knows everybody. And that gives you a really good opportunity to get advice, be able to meet with your faculty. Our faculty are very student-centric. But in addition to the small school feel, we're part of a very large university. A university with about 40,000 students in it, a university that has a Division I football team and other Division I sports, a university with a brand new world-class library that serves the whole community. So at the end of the day, it's a small school feel, but with big university amenities. Next slide. Let me tell you a little bit about our programs. We all recognize that many of you have decided that you want to study one of the particular areas that are shown on this slide. Some of you might not be sure though. Some of you might come in as undeclared. There's no problem there, and I'll explain to you why as we go through these different programs. So let's talk to the ones on the left. These are our undergraduate engineering degrees. We have the BS in bioengineering. Bioengineering is a field that involves medical devices, bioinstrumentation, tissue engineering. Many of our students who study bioengineering use this as a pre-health program to then go on and study things such as medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine, things of that nature. We have a BS in civil engineering. This teaches you to build bridges, to design structures, water distribution systems. This is all part of our civil environment, which we need to support society. We have a BS in electrical engineering. Now that might seem fairly simple an explanation. It involves electricity, but it's much more than that today. Today, electrical engineers are the men and women behind what you're listening to right now, the internet and the computers. And in fact, electrical engineering is in a department called electrical and computer engineering. We have environmental engineering, a relatively new program, which was an outgrowth from our civil engineering program. Environmental engineering will instruct you how to work in the areas of water pollution and air pollution, things of that nature. I want to skip the next one and come back to it, industrial and systems engineering. BS in mechanical engineering is involving power and automobiles and airplanes, things of that nature. In fact, the word engineering comes from the word engine, which is mechanical. It was the mechanical engineers who developed the steam engine and the internal combustion gasoline engine and the hybrid cars that we drive today. Then next is the BS in engineering. Sometimes we call that general engineering. Today, engineering is becoming more and more interdisciplinary, and we're finding that students want to study things such as electromechanical engineering, where you're taking electrical engineering courses and mechanical engineering courses. You would use that if you were interested in building robots. Electrical optical engineering, fiber optics, all involve electro-optical engineering. Computer hardware and software engineering, okay? Computer hardware, for the most part, is developed by electrical engineers. Software, learning how to write software programs, is done by software engineers. Most of our software studies are offered in the College of Science and Technology. We have this program where we combine the two, hardware and software engineering, so you have the hardware and the software to really understand the full universe of what's involved in computers. We have energy and power engineering. This again combines mechanical and electrical engineering. And then finally, we have engineering fundamentals, which is used by a lot of students who are not 100% sure what area of engineering they want to study, but also are thinking about maybe going to law school and becoming a patent attorney, or maybe going again to medical school. So they'll study engineering fundamentals. All these programs are accredited, except for one, which I'll get to in a minute. Actually, two I'll get to in a minute, are accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Commission of ABET, the Accreditation Board for Engineering Technology. Environmental engineering is a relatively new program, and the ABET rules for any school, it doesn't matter what school you go to, require that you have to have your first graduates graduate from the program before you can apply for accreditation. That happened. Our first class graduated a couple years ago, and right now we're preparing our accreditation report to ABET to get environmental engineering accredited, and we don't anticipate any problem. The other one, industrial and systems engineering, is only 2 years old, so we haven't had our first students graduate yet, but that too, the curriculum was designed with accreditation in mind, and we anticipate there'll be no problem there. So at the end of the day, our programs are all designed to be, and for the most part, are accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Commission of ABET. What's important is that first year curriculum, if you look at the top right, is a common first year. Essentially, all those programs on the left start with a course called Introduction to Engineering, and subsequently you take calculus, and physics, and chemistry, and some gen ed courses and writing. And this means that if you come in, and let's say you decide you want to be a civil engineer, but after studying an intro to engineering, you think, you know, I think electrical engineering is more to my liking. It's no problem to transfer. We don't have any quotas. You can go transfer into any of those programs you want. You're in the College of Engineering, and all these programs you have an opportunity to study. So don't worry too much if you're not sure what you want to do, or you think you want to be a student in one particular field of engineering, but you change your mind after this first year. There's no penalty to that. But, very important point, all these programs are highly math intensive. You don't have to be a mathematician to study engineering, but you have to be comfortable in math. By the way, as I'm talking, I realized I didn't describe industrial and systems engineering, so I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But let me finish the math part. I have a doctorate degree in mathematics. No, not mathematics, in mechanical engineering. And my doctoral dissertation involved a lot of math. But I got to tell you, I'm not a mathematician, never was. But I always, always, always felt comfortable in mathematics. And that's important. You can't study engineering and do well unless you feel comfortable in math. But you do not have to be a mathematician. And I teach some of this intro to engineering program, and I'll talk to you more about math when you come in and what you need to do to stay comfortable in that. Okay, let me come back to BS in industrial systems engineering, which I missed. That's our relatively newest program. That's an interesting program because it combines both engineering and courses from the Fox School of Business in supply chain management and marketing and accounting. This is the fastest growing engineering program in the United States. It's focused a lot on something called supply chain management and logistics. How to make sure in our nation products get from point A to point B and how the various parts come together. It's very, very important. And interesting to note, the largest employer of industrial and systems engineer in the United States is Amazon. Now, Amazon doesn't make anything, but as we all know, they're a pretty big company. I'm sure you all get an Amazon delivery on a regular basis. And that's because behind the scenes, it's the industrial and systems engineers who are making that all happen. The next largest employer of industrial and systems engineers in the United States is the United Parcel System, UPS. Again, you might think of them as a package delivery company, but they're really a logistics company staffed by industrial and systems engineer. They recently, one of the chairman and CEOs, he just retired, but he was an industrial and systems engineer. So that's it on the left. Now, there's another way you can study engineering. It's called engineering technology, or sometimes we call it applied engineering. You still have to be comfortable in math, but maybe not as comfortable in math as you have to be for the courses on the left. There you're going to work with engineers in the field of what we call engineering technology. There, it's not as theoretically based as it's more hands-on based. So we have the BS in engineering technology, which has 5 different tracks you can take: mechanical, manufacturing, computer, construction, energy, or general. And then we have a very specific one called BS in construction engineering technology, which is taught out of our civil and engineering department. That's if you're a construction engineering technologist, you can go to work for a large construction firm. They play a very important role in our in hiring our students. Next slide. Again, why Temple? Clearly, go back one, please. Oh, why Temple? Okay, sorry. High quality engineering education. As I said earlier, our engineering education is based on the requirements of the Accreditation Board for Engineering Technology, and we're very proud that we offer very high quality engineering education as a result of the dedication and knowledge of our 74 full-time faculty and adjunct faculty. There's diversity in both students and faculty, and we live in a diverse world, and you might as well be studying in a university where there's a diversity of both students and faculty, so you fit right into the diverse world we live in. And that's social diversity. We also have at Temple University substantial academic diversity. What do I mean by that? We have men and women studying at Temple that are political science majors, sociology majors, history majors. You're going to find, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, that our education is based on this concept of design thinking, which is identifying needs. And sometimes those needs are identified not by other engineering students, but by some of the students you'll be sharing clubs with, being in various dormitories, various apartments, and they'll give you good ideas on what to do. And you'll use your engineering education to solve those problems. So we have both social diversity and academic diversity. In addition, we have a dedicated team of professional advisors. These are men and women that won't be advising you on how to do well in a course. That you talk to your faculty, your professor teaching it. But these are the men and women who make sure that they navigate you through the complexity of what course you're going to pick, when you're going to take it, what you need to graduate, and all kinds of problems. These men and women are really well skilled in this area. Complementing them are two people, a man and a woman, who are career counselors. They start with you in your freshman year, talking to you about resume preparation, what you need to do to be ready to go out into a career, and then they'll help you identify companies that might hire you, or maybe where you're going to go to graduate school. So that's very important. Now, I mentioned that we are a large university, and in our large university, we do a lot of faculty research. And faculty research is very important because some of our students decide that research is what they're interested in. So you can participate in some of this faculty research. More and more of our students are doing that. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Our faculty are accessible. We all have very, very liberal office hours, and we encourage our students to come and talk to us with all kinds of problems, whether they're having a problem solving a problem, whether they're having a problem overall in their course. Our faculty are there because they love to work with students. So at the end of the day, you have a small school feel with the big university's amenities. Next slide. Again, why Temple Engineering? Now you're coming in here to get a BS degree, but some of you might be thinking, you know, I might want a Master of Science degree. Well, generally, the way that's done is you go to a 4-year program, get a bachelor's, and then go to graduate school for 2 years and get a Master of Science. But we have something called the 4+1 program, where you can study for both a BS and MS, and in 5 years, get that. You can do the math. You're going to save a year of tuition if you do this. So how does that work? When you're in your 4th year, your last year of your Bachelor of Science program, you can begin to take some Master of Science programs that in your 4th year, so that when you get to the MS program, you only need another year. So this is our accelerated 4+1 program. It's a rapidly growing program. And frankly, there's some very good economics to that. You can easily do the math. 5 years of tuition is less than 6 years of tuition. We have a campus in Rome, Temple Rome. It's been around for 50 years, and many of our students have studied abroad there. But up until about 3 years ago, all the study abroad was always done, they were always taking what we call gen ed courses, like language courses or various courses that were not engineering specific. 3 years ago, we decided we wanted to offer a semester at Temple Rome, which was engineering, or included 3 engineering courses. It's specific for the MS in mechanical and civil engineering. We're close to getting one also for electrical engineering. So generally in your 2nd semester of your sophomore year, you can study abroad at Temple Rome. These are Temple courses taught by professors who have been hired by Temple using Temple syllabi. It's seamless. Your financial aid, anything that you have on main campus just translates over to the Rome campus. Again, I want to come back to undergraduate research. Our undergraduate research also includes Merit Scholars Program and departmental programs. There are many opportunities there. Finally, I want to talk about co-op or internships. Now, we do not have a required co-op program like some other schools might have, but we do have co-op opportunities. And our advising department and our career counselors will help you find a co-op program if you are interested in it, to spend a semester doing a co-op. We also have internships, which frankly are summer internships. We find that 72% of our students report participating in one or more experiential learning opportunity, and that would be particularly internships. The rate of students studying being interns is growing tremendously, and what an internship offers is not only a semester to get some experience in the field you're in, a lot of these internships turn into full-time jobs when you graduate. How does that all happen? Again, our career advisors will help you with that, but our career advisors have also set up 2 career fairs with more than 75 companies from all over the world coming to our campus to recruit students. And that's really a reflection of how good our education is, because I got to be honest with you, 5 years ago, we had maybe only 20 companies come. Now we actually have to ration how many companies can come. It's more companies want to come to Temple to recruit than you can possibly imagine. And that's all a reflection on how great a job we're doing in providing education to you when you come. Next slide. So when I studied engineering a long time ago, it was 100% focused on solving problems. Okay, you studied a particular course, you had a textbook, you did problems 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and turned it in. Your quiz was based on that, and that's all you did. And that was good. I mean, I had a great career. I spent 14 years in industry solving problems. But today, that's not enough. It's just not enough. And we found that you have to add 2 other areas to really flesh out your whole engineering education. You have to have a mindset and skill set that provides you the opportunity to be an innovator. So you can do creative design and product and process development to solve important problems. So we want you to be an innovator. We want you also to be an entrepreneur. That does not necessarily mean you're all going to go out and start your own companies. That's great if you do. But even if you work for a large company today, they're looking for men and women who have an entrepreneurial mindset, where they can identify market opportunities and human needs. At the end of the day, when you put all these together, you end up with an education with an entrepreneurial focus, and you're an innovator, so that you're flexible, you're resilient, you're creative, you're empathetic, and you have the ability to recognize and seize opportunities. Next slide. So again, when I studied engineering, as I said earlier, and when everybody studied engineering before 1990 or so, it was 100% focused on solving problems. And that was good. We all got jobs. We all had fine careers, but it's not enough today. It's clearly not enough. You have to be able to do a lot more. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You have to start by identifying a problem or identifying a need. And that's really goes back to what I said earlier. The advantage you have at studying at Temple is that you're going to meet men and women who are not engineering majors, but they can help identify needs. Mark Zuckerberg started a company that's a technology company, Facebook. He wasn't an engineer, okay? He wasn't an engineer, but look at Facebook today. And I can tell you many examples of that, where people have identified needs and then they worked with engineers to eventually solve the problem. Apple Computer. Apple Computer was started by 2 men, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Wozniak was the engineer, but when we think of Apple, we always think of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is the guy that identified the problem. He was not an engineer. Together, they worked and they formed one of the largest companies in the world, the Apple Computer Company. So after you identify a problem, you then have to define the problem and clarify the problem. And that's all leading to finally getting to solving the problem. Now, this pyramid that you see really reflects, in a simple nutshell, a concept called design thinking. Our education at Temple has evolved into an education that is really focused on design thinking. It starts with Introduction to Engineering, and it ends with your capstone course called Senior Design. And we're embedding various ways to be a design thinker among all of the what I'll call transactional courses that you take between Introduction to Engineering and Senior Design. For instance, if you're a mechanical engineer, you're taking courses in dynamics, and thermodynamics, and heat transfer. We're now incorporating the concepts of design thinking in those areas. This is going to really give you a leg up when you go out in industry. Next slide. So I keep saying design thinking. What's design thinking? I'm going to show you now a video that we just made that it doesn't use the word design thinking, but keep in mind that one of the basic tenets of design thinking is identifying the need. This is a video that reflects what a student group has recently done on our campus, using a lot of what's in that Ideas Hub that I told you about when I first started. So can we show that video?
Means you can pop this out, you can pop it in. If that doesn't work, you can remove it. If this doesn't work, if you choose on it, we can pop it out, pop a new one in.
It's like our first ever interaction with a patient. We have someone, and that person is a dog, and it's an adorable dog, and we are going to make his life better.
This is a golden retriever mix. His name is Jack. He's about 61 pounds. He's an older dog, but he is very strong. He had a tumor, they amputated it, and even without his front leg, he's still able to walk around and get up, and he hasn't lost hope, so it's fun to be able to give him something that he can feel younger with.
So I'm the biology lead, which means I'm supposed to take into consideration all the things that affect the dog and its health. So specifically what me and my team have been doing is doing the socket for the dog that contacts the skin. So we worked on that together, and then our mechanical counterparts did the other portions.
So for the mechanical side, we do a lot of making sure that the material is right, it'll support the weight of the dog, we have the right measurements, we design each component on SolidWorks or Inventor or another software program, and then we 3D print it, and now we're assembling all of the pieces together to make our final project.
All our members in our club stem from art majors to pre-health or engineering, so I think that's a big part of the club, not just engineers. The fact that this club has an end goal and gets to reward others is a different feeling that a lot of clubs don't get to feel.
I feel like the best success comes from working with people that are different from you. So not just people who are biology majors or in the healthcare, but people that make these devices too. Connecting the different sciences will take us a lot further.
I think the most rewarding part is bringing everybody's ideas together and then to life. We're really making something that's going to benefit this dog. It's going to be used. It's not just for a class. It's something that is important for another being, and I think that's really special.
Isn't that great? Now, it doesn't use the word design thinking in there, but did you hear they said they work with art majors and majors from different departments? They identified the need. That, in a nutshell, encapsulates what we want you to be able to do when you graduate from Temple University College of Engineering. Let's like to say that video was made before they've actually put the leg on the dog, and the dog does now walk. So when we make that video, or when you get to campus, we'll show you a video of the dog actually walking. Okay, so we talked about courses, we talked about research, we talked about design thinking, but we haven't talked yet about another very important element of coming to Temple's College of Engineering, and that is our student organizations. We have about 17 of them in all kinds of areas. We have what I call the professional organizations. Those would be the one on the left. The IEEE, that's the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers, the ASE, the American Society of Civil Engineers, and so on. We also have what I call social organizations that are not related necessarily to a particular field. So we have the Society of Women Engineers, which you see in the middle there. The Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, SHPE. the National Society of Black Engineers. What's interesting to note is not everybody in the Society of Women Engineers is a woman. Not everyone in the Society of Hispanic and Professional Engineers is Hispanic. The majority are, but we don't discourage. In fact, we encourage students to join these other social organizations where they're not necessarily a member of that social class. Again, that all helps with diversity, so it's pretty interesting. Same with the professional societies. You can be a civil engineer, but be a member of the the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers. These are great, these societies and these professional organizations, because they bring in speakers from outside. It's a way to develop peer relationships that help you with your studies. It really is very important, and our kids just love it. They really, really love it. So, and we're continuing to add different organizations. That group that you just saw, that was a new student organization on prosthetics and orthotics. That was formed by students. The college doesn't form these professional organizations. They come from the students, and they play a very important role. Next slide. So, when you're all done, what happens? Well, let me tell you about the success. We haven't got our 2019 numbers yet, but they're going to be actually a little higher than our 2018 numbers. Around 91% of our students from 2018 were employed full-time or were enrolled in graduate school within 6 months of graduation. Average starting salary, well, the average is $62,500. But 49%, or approximately 50 of our respondents, reported a starting salary of over $65,000. We have one student that went out recently at $100,000 a year. This is important. We understand that we have the highest average starting salaries of any undergraduate program at Temple University. So, look, I think you should study engineering because you're interested in being an engineer. Okay? But it doesn't hurt that you're going to go out at a high starting salary. So something to think about. Next slide. I mentioned internship experiences. We're finding these more and more important, and the kids really, really like them. So we're going to show you right now a short video that was taken of students that were in internships last summer. And I think you'll enjoy this, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Hey guys, my name's Sophia Yu.
Hey guys, my name's Casey Mafia.
Hi, I'm Jessica Hogan.
My name's Kendall Laster. I'm a mechanical engineering major here at Temple.
I'm a senior. I study electrical and computer engineering.
I majored in civil engineering and I majored in Turner Construction over the summer.
What was cool is one of the projects that I worked on was a cost reduction venture to redesign the circuitry of one of the existing products. It's a fire alarm strobe, and my job was to go and redesign the analog circuitry and then reprogram the firmware for that system.
So I worked on a 2013 Chevy Volt teardown where my goal was to take down the car, deconstruct it, and see what products we could use in the Chevy Volt teardown.
So the project that I worked on was called the Intercom Fit-Out Project on 24th and Market Street.
This summer I worked on nanocomposites with graphene reinforced nanofiller in polymer samples and mortar samples for the mechanical and thermal testing through percolation theory.
In terms of coursework, I was super amazed because when I walked in my first day of work, I was very prepared for this internship, and I really got to thank my professors for that.
If I could describe my experience over the summer in one word, it would be learning.
It was a growing experience. I learned a lot.
One word I would describe my internship experience is probably broadening.
I would say be your best marketer. You've been putting in the work, you've been putting in the hours, the late nights, the classes, and when it's time to go out there, just believe in yourself, be your best marketer.
You know, don't worry about what you're specifically going to be doing because they teach you that mostly on the field and stuff like that. There was a lot of things that I didn't know, and that I got taught at the job. So don't be afraid to, go out there and discover new things.
So, I think you can see why these summer internships are so important, and hopefully in a year or two after you've been here, we'll come to you and ask you to be part of this. Next slide, please. Where do our graduates go when they graduate? This is just a partial list of some of the companies: Boeing, Comcast, Johnson & Johnson, General Electric. And our students are pursuing degrees at places like NYU, Columbia, Penn, Purdue, Rensselaer. We have a student that now is at the Northwestern University Feinberg School of Medicine. So they're going to the top companies and the top universities, depending on if they want to go to graduate school or go out and work in industry. Next slide. Let me tell you about engineers who lead. These are 5 men and women who really are big deals. Tim Cook, chairman of the board of Apple. He's an industrial and systems engineer. Jeff Bezos, he's an electrical engineer. He's chairman of the board of Amazon. Ursula Burns, she just recently retired. She's a mechanical engineer, but she was chairman and CEO of Xerox. Representative Chrissy Houlihan from the 6th District in Pennsylvania in the United States Congress. She is an industrial systems engineer and the co-chair of the Congressional Women in STEM Caucus. We just had Congressman Houlihan come to dedicate our new Ideas Hub in late February. And finally, who would have guessed this? Our latest, and hopefully he'll be here for a long time, Joe Girardi, the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. He studied industrial and systems engineering, and he will tell you, I've seen write-ups where he says his success as a manager, unfortunately he was a manager of the New York Yankees who won the World Series, but now we have him. His success as a manager was because he was an industrial and systems engineer. So engineers are leaders. A large portion of the Fortune 500 companies are led by people who are engineers or have engineering backgrounds. Next slide. So, congratulations. We're really excited to have you come. We want you to come and meet us. I want to meet every one of you. I will in the Introduction to Engineering and Engineering Technology course. Your engineering career starts right now. Be thinking about what you're going to do when you get here. And if you have any questions, you can either write the general inquiries, send an email to the top one, or email me directly. I'm pretty good in responding to students. No, I'm great responding to students. Just write me and say, hey, Dr. Brookstein, I have this question. Or the person who's done a great job in running my slides, Dr. Colleen Bailey, who's our Director of Enrollment Management. So, welcome to Temple. Enjoy your summer. Looking forward to meeting all you. Have a nice day.